I think all the things that everybody told me was too much about myself is what I'm learning to love again. My energy, it could be big, but I also know that that could be a light in spaces. Introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? I've been thinking about this question. Who am I? Hmm. I am a sister, a daughter, child of God, artist, curator, clothing designer, founder of Artist Talk. I feel like I'm a lot of things. I would say those things encapsulate me though. Family, art, community is important. Um, what do I do? I'm like redefining that right now. But I would say, I contribute to and curate communities and conversations. I feel like I'm trying to figure that out right now. I'm like in that stage of life. But if we're talking about like titles, I guess, I'm a founder of Artist Talk, created that community to support artists and hopefully provide safe spaces for artists to come and be themselves, to be authentic. I try to walk in that and practice what I preach. And what else do I do? I'm a creator. I'm an artist. I created Niplids. It's a hat brand that supports breast cancer survivors. But that's my artistry. I feel like that's my go-to to kind of like dive into myself and be creative and have that creative energy. I think I'll leave it there. Okay.
Only thing, can you say your name for me?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm Sydney Davis. Yes. Talk to me about your art. So, my artistry actually started doing poetry when I was younger. I used to like ask for a pen and a piece of paper everywhere that I went, like my grandma's, any house that I went to, and I would find like pieces of cardboard and like write poems on it. But poetry was my first love. I was actually in a group called Tribe Eternal with Lum, Clara Kent, and Bilal Abbey, where I did spoken word with them for a while. So that was my first form of artistry. And then I moved into painting with my body. I was actually an art assistant for a little while. And I don't know what drew me exactly to do that. I've always been untraditional. I didn't feel like I was a great painter, but painting my body and using my body as a paintbrush felt more organic and authentic for me. So, I don't think anybody gets to decide what the artwork looked like that way. Like it was imperfect, and I kind of love that with art for me. Yeah, so printing your body, I mean, you can do no wrong. And I also like that painting my body and printing it onto a canvas, um, it doesn't always appear like what it looks like. So people's interpretation of what they thought it was really cool for me. And I kind of dove into that a lot with Niplids when I created it. So Niplids is nipple printed hats that I make. And yeah, people will come up and they'll be like, oh, like, what is this? And I'm always like, what do you think it is? And they might say like, they think it's a flower or um, a skull or just whatever they see it as. It's kind of like the blotch test. So I'm always curious what's in people's minds, and then they're always shocked when I tell them it's a nipple print and the story behind it. But yeah, it's just my way of like participating in art and creating. I've just always been drawn to do things in a very non-traditional way. So yes, that's why I paint with my body. What do you enjoy about controversial art? Do you think your art acts as a mirror for people to look inward? Ooh, okay, so those are two separate questions. What do you enjoy about controversial art? So I had a show called Naked or Nude. My first art show debut of my art, it was at the Mattress Factory. Um, And we kind of played with this concept of like, who gets to decide if it's naked or nude? What does that definition, in people's minds? What does that look like, and why are they defining it because of that? Is it the environment? Is it the people that are around? So I always like the conversations that come out of art when we push the envelope a little bit. And Pittsburgh is like a very conservative city. Um, if I were to do the same artwork in Cali, I don't think it would be so jaw dropping. So I like to play with environments and places and see what's in people's minds and pull them out and then go a little bit deeper. Why do you think that? Is it because of your upbringing? Is it because of what people told you should think? Or do you actually feel that way? And like, especially with niplets, like, what is the big thing with nipples? Like, we all have them, right? Like, I always play with my friend and I'm like, we're all mammals. Like, it's fine. But, it's so off-putting for some people. And it actually allowed me to have more confidence in myself and my body, just for me. So yeah. Next question is, do you think your art acts as a mirror for people to look inward? I would hope so. I would hope that we dive into those, like, I want my art to make you ask yourself questions and challenge why you think the way you think and go to the roots of those things. And I know Niplets does, because I have tons of conversations with people and they're like, is it your nipple? Whose nipple is it? Why are you doing things with nipple? And I tell them the story behind breast cancer. And you can see this like immediate switch of like, now we're not sexualizing it. Now it's something that's contributing or empowering a community. But what if it was just the nipple, or not having ties to that community, or that experience people are having in life.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Where does your passion for breast cancer awareness come from?
Yeah, so my godmother had breast cancer, and I started making the hats for her.
Okay.
So that's where it came from. And then friends started buying hats and family started buying hats, and then it kind of just snowballed. And it's really beautiful. And I guess after you ask that question, it does make people look inward. And I know that because when I do pop-ups or I talk to people about what Niplets is, people tell me their personal stories of like, oh, my sister had breast cancer and this happened and she beat it. Or I know a friend that has breast cancer. Let me like tell you about their story. And then, I have people FaceTime their friends and be like, look at these hats. I've had people message me years later and just tell me like, either I beat breast cancer, my sister beat breast cancer, and like I wear this hat and I run a little harder because I think of her and I support her. So it does make people think about the people they love and how to support them and their stories. And I think that's one of the most beautiful parts about Niplets is the stories that I get to hear and the connections. I feel like people hit me up and they're like, I've done pop-ups, I don't know, Philly, New York, LA, all the places that I've been. I always have like a bag full of hats. So it's cool to like have a community. Some girl bought a hat in Alaska and we still talk. This was like a decade ago. And she's still like, I see all the stuff you're doing and like, I love this. And I have a new friend to buy a hat from. And, we'll just talk about life. But it really created like a community for me and hopefully for them too. So, yeah. Okay. Talk to me about Artist Talk Mental Health. Why did you start it? During COVID, systems were failing, as they usually do. The bigger ones, whenever things happen in the world, I think like we depend on these big healthcare systems, but I think the people that actually hold the people up and support them in times like that are the smaller organizations or communities. So Artist Talk was born and created out of the pandemic. A lot of my friends were just struggling with different mental health issues. And, as an artist, we don't have insurance. We didn't have a lot of the resources, and people didn't need like paintbrushes and canvases. They needed like food and housing and community. Um, so yeah, I rented out Opia in the South Side, and got some of my friends together that I had been creating with over the weeks prior to that, and we were just talking about different artist struggles that we were having, or just struggles in life, period. And I thought that I was gonna raise all this money and like get therapy for everybody, and I very quickly found out why nobody has ever never done that before. But I think there was so much healing and power in the conversations we were having about just the stuff we were going through and relating. So I wanted to use art as a pathway to, one, have those conversations and continue them, but also to open them up to everybody else. It's great that I have a great support system and amazing friends, but I was thinking about the people that didn't, that are probably going through the same stuff that we were going through, and probably having these same conversations in their head at some point. And the beautiful part was just having these like aha moments with my friends, and them being like, I'm going through this. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going through that. And that's just like talking about all the stuff we were going through. And it didn't always make it better, but it made it feel less alone. And I think that there was a lot of healing in that. So yeah, Artist Talk started as just like a showcase. My friends like creating art, talking about their mental health behind it, bringing a therapist in to facilitate a conversation with the community. And you didn't have to be an artist to participate. Like, the artist would perform, but we would turn our chairs in like a circle, the audience, the artist, everybody in the room, and we would just talk about what was coming up, and just being in community. So that's how it started.
I love that.
Yeah. I can't believe it's about to be 5 years. Thinking about like the beginning. What's our mission? I feel like I'm not going to give you like what I put on the grant applications and the paperwork. I think the mission really is to just create space for us to show up authentically. I think there's so much beauty in like our individual light that we have inside of us. And when you show up and you're authentic and you're vulnerable, it just feels like a different world. And it also allows everybody else to do that around you. And I think that that's so powerful. So really to like let people's light shine and like create a space to feel safe and cultivate that, and put you in a room with other people to see their light shine. I would say that's our mission. That's not what I would put on like an application or on paper for something, but I think that is where the healing happens. So yeah, why is mental health so important to you? Well, Artist Talk specifically, I'll backtrack a little bit. When I was doing some research, trying to find therapists, trying to find different support systems before we created them, I was going on websites and I was looking at all these different categories that they supported, but all of them were missing like Black mental health. It was a lot of stuff for like mothers or like just certain groups, but it was always missing that category. And when I had reached out to different organizations to ask them, like, oh, well, what about this? They're like, oh, we're working on that. So I saw a gap. And I think that there's so much stigma, me being a Black woman, a Black artist, just Black, period. There's a lot of things passed down, even in my personal family, where it's like, I'm not paying a therapist to talk about this, or that's a waste of money. And there's this like fallacy of like, we should be able to carry everything. We should be able to be strong enough or just push past it. And I think that we're resilient and we're beautiful, but we don't have to carry that. And it doesn't have to be ours to tough it out by ourselves. So I think coming from that belief system and creating a new one, and seeing that it's possible is why it became important to me. I want my friends to have that. I want my family to have that. I want the people I care about and love to have that. And they deserve that. So I think that's a big reason why it's important for me. Okay, what has Artist Talk Mental Health taught you about yourself? So many things. Let me think. How do I narrow that down? I think a big thing I've been learning this year is a lot of the rooms that I create, I think I'm creating for other people. And often those rooms are for me too. Yeah, there's so much healing that takes place in that space. And I try to expose artists to like different modalities of healing, whether it be like sound bowl healing, or we just went to a farm and did like some equestrian therapy with horses and like all these different things. And we have these deep conversations. And like I said before, it's like these aha moments of like, oh, I thought I was just putting you in a room with tools, but here I am using these tools as well. And learning and growing and exposing myself to those things. Artist Talk has taught me that you could build families, that you could build support systems. I think Artist Talk has really showed me that art can be like a tool for healing. And it showed me that like art is like really just mental, like people's mental health on display. You know, whether it be, so Artist Talk, we work with all mediums. So we have like, Benny was on the show, he's a gardener. We've had painters, rappers, singers, nail techs, makeup artists, etc. Anything on the spectrum. I believe that if you have a creative process, like that's art. So even like I said with Benny, like a garden, that's art to me. Yeah, so it's like if you're not watering the garden, you're probably not okay. If you're painting and there's like, I don't know, darker colors or heartbreak or, you know, whatever's being displayed on that canvas or even in words with poetry, you can feel the love or the grief or the anger or the lack of taking care of, or how much you are taking care of yourself and able to express and articulate and pour into it. So it's taught me how to communicate with people and how to understand them, and using art as like a way to have those conversations has been really cool and a cool lesson for me. I feel like I could stay on this question for days. What has Artist Talk Mental Health taught you about yourself? It's taught me that I'm resilient. I think I had this like anxiety at the beginning of Artist Talk. After I had gotten my first grant, it felt like this pressure to like not to perform, but to produce, and to be better every time, to do more every time. And I think I felt this like anxiety to produce and to be better. And it felt like if I missed an email or if I didn't put on like a perfect event or I didn't have like a specific outcome or if it wasn't better than the last thing, that everything was going to fall apart. And so I think that Artist Talk has taught me to like give myself grace, and also that it doesn't have to be bigger and it doesn't have to be better. Like the people that are supposed to be there will be there, and the people that need to receive something will receive those things. So a big thing that I've been trying to do this year rather than going bigger is go deeper. And I've been doing that in my own personal practice as well. So those are some things that Artist Talk taught me about myself. How has it changed me? It's given me a lot of faith in myself, and it's just taught me that I can do all the things. I have so much stuff in my brain, like my imagination, and I'm very innovative and I want to try all the things. And it's taught me that like you can try all the things, you can do all the things, the outlandish ideas, the crazy thoughts of like, oh, well, what if we put this in the room? And what if we talked about this? And like those things that we're not supposed to talk about. It's taught me to do them and to be brave and like to open the door to those conversations. I think that that is where like the love and growth happens is when we're being authentic and vulnerable. And it's really like given me the confidence to be the one to do it first, to start those conversations and to be brave in them. So it's changed me in those ways. It's just like given me this confidence to just do it and not be so scared. I think growing up in Pittsburgh, there were a lot of environments that had like a scarcity mindset. And even when I moved to Cali, like, love my mom. Shout out to you, mom. But she's just like, where are you going to work? How are you going to do that? You don't know anybody. And like, what are you going to do? And I was just like, I went to Cali for a month with some friends. We got an Airbnb and was just working there for the month because we all worked remote. And I went back home and I packed my stuff and I left for Cali the next week. And I didn't think about all the like what's in the house and all of those things. I did it and I believed in myself and I wanted adventure and it was like the time of my life and I did all the things. And um yeah, so I think that confidence started there, but Artist Talk has really taught me to just go for it and do it. And when you have faith, all those things, and when you have a pure intentions and you're like being your authentic self and letting your light shine, like things will naturally align. So it's changed me in that way. I feel like I have this like unshakable confidence of like, yeah, let's do it. You want to, if you want to put on this art show, even with the artists that I work with in Artist Talk, I'm like, yeah, let's do all the crazy ideas. Like, I want to do an Artist Talk in London. And I'm like, let's do it. I hit up a venue on Instagram called The Cube. And I reached out to my friend that lives over there. And I'm like, hey, maybe you could host and I could bring an artist or I can talk to the artist over there. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know that I'm going to. And I think that a lot of that started with Artist Talk with just an idea in mind and following through and being like, every time I do it, it's just like, okay, we did it. We could do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's next? Yeah. Okay, the rose phase. You are re-exploring who you are. Who were you before? I think I was still figuring out who I was before. Um, yeah, I think I've always had this light and this like loudness about me, this very like vibrantness about me. But I think who I was before was scared to be that fully. Um, I think I've always been this like bubbly, loud personality, very like vivacious. And I think being in Pittsburgh before I moved to Cali, it really made me feel like I had to bottle a lot of that up and dim my light, be quieter, be less attention grabbing, not in like a performative way, but just like naturally. I think that um, I'm just that type of person. Like, if I'm in a room, you're probably gonna know it, whether it be like hearing me or feeling my energy or me just like, I'm a social butterfly. I'll just like walk up to people and be like, hey, I'm Sydney, and like, this is what I do. Like, who are you? Or what do you do? Or, um, what's going on with you today? So I think who I was before was like, I was in this like in between stage of like, do I continue to like bottle myself up? Or am I gonna like step fully into like who I am and be this person that I am? So yeah, I think I've went in and out of that throughout time. I feel like I totally stepped out of it when I lived in California and then I moved back to Pittsburgh and I feel like I ebb and flow. Um, and I think something new for me too is like I've been having a lot of like social anxiety and I think a lot of like where that stems from is that like what environments can I fully be me in and which ones do I need to kind of like tamper down. And I think who I was before was willing to do that. And I think now I'm very intentional about the spaces that I put myself in. And if it doesn't feel right, or if I feel like I need to tamper or not be my full self, I just don't go. So I think before it was that putting myself in spaces that didn't feel good and just like pushing through it and like toughing it out, or telling myself like we're going for this reason. So it's like okay to do that. And I think now, like I said, I don't go to those environments. I know we were talking about like sitting in the house, and I'm just enjoying me. Like I'm enjoying my space. Like you said in the question, re-exploring like who I am and the rose phase. So it's Van Gogh, and I'm exploring and creating a collection right now called the Metamorphosis. And so the rose phase, it was like this blue phase that he had, and very depressed. I think one of his friends had like passed away and had taken his own life, and there was like a war or something going on in his country, and just a lot of like sad blue paintings. And but there was a lot of grief at that time. This year has felt like a lot of grief for me, with relationships, with people that have passed, with making these hard decisions to like remove myself from spaces that I wanted to be in, or I thought I wanted to be in. Um, it's hard to leave spaces. It's hard to leave people that you love, even when it's best for you. So, yeah, this past year has felt like the blue phase, and I feel like I'm finally like stepping into my like rose phase, which is where he moved, and I don't remember if he moved to Paris, but he fell in love again, and it was just like he was just excited for life again and accepting of love. And I think that sometimes you can close yourself off to it. So I feel like I'm stepping back into that, even if it's just me loving myself. Um, so yeah, that's who I was before. And I think the next question, who are you becoming, is just like me unapologetically. Really like learning myself again, loving myself fully, saying no to the bad things, to the toxic things, to the draining things. And yeah, I think that allows me to be a better sister, a better friend, a better daughter, um, and just a better person overall. I think that our testimonies are so important, the things that we go through, even if they're hard, like it allows other people to walk in that light and know that like it's possible. So I hope I'm becoming that person that is that can be a light for others, but more importantly, a light for myself. Oh man, I saw this question on your Instagram.
Everyone gets asked this one.
Okay, if your younger self was here with us right now, what would you say to her? I thought about this question so much because I saw everybody else answer it. If your younger self was here with us right now, what would you say to her? I would just tell her to trust herself. I think there's been so many spaces in life where like my intuition was like this blaring alarm that was going off. And in my mind, I'm like picturing like when you're in school and the fire alarm is going off and you don't move right away because you're like, is this real? Is it not real? It's like, it's a fire alarm. Get up and go and run. And I feel like my intuition has always been very strong. My faith has always been very strong. I think that over the years, I've developed a lot of discernment, and my relationship with God is really important to me. I feel like He talks to me like through my dreams. It's just like an ongoing conversation with him throughout the day. Um, and I feel like he's wanted to tell me some things, and he's wanted to tell me some things for a while, and he tells me over and over again. And sometimes I just like, I'm the type of person I need to touch the fire, sometimes multiple times. Um, but I would just say, yeah, to trust your intuition, to listen to your discernment. Like, you know, you know the things, and you're right. Even when you don't want to be, like, you're right. So like, trust that and know that it's okay to like trust you. Yeah, I would tell little Sid that. Okay, if your future self, okay, I did not see this question on the Instagram. Okay, if your future self was here, what would she tell you to stop? What would she tell you to stop holding back? Whew, that's a that's a great question. Um, if your future self was here, what would she tell you to stop holding back? Maybe leaving situations faster, people, places, things. I think sometimes, the majority of the time, um, hopefully not anymore, I have to see things through, even when they're like not good, or I need to fully know. And I don't think I don't think that presence in me needs to know all those things anymore. I think it's similar to what I would tell my younger self. Like, you don't need to hold yourself back by knowing every single detail to let go and to move forward and to just like run full throttle into like, purpose or whatever the direction you're going in life. I hold myself back a lot because I need to know. I need to know all the details. I need to know why people did the things that they did. I need to have and seek understanding and understand like what somebody went through to make them do those things to other people, when it's just like, no, you just shouldn't do those things to people, and that's their work to do. So I think often I hold myself back, whether it be in a job or a relationship or life. And I think it just goes back to what I would tell my younger self. It's just like, trust yourself. Like, if it doesn't feel right and it doesn't align, it's okay to just walk away. What is the biggest lesson life is teaching you right now? What is the biggest lesson life is teaching you right now? Mm. I think that I am who I think I am. I think like even just like coming here off of like traveling, um, yeah, I'm gonna say it. So I was in a relationship for a while that I felt like was like just holding me back and dimming my light. And I think now being in a new space in life and it being just me again is really just like, and traveling, there's this beautiful thing that happens when I travel. It's like I'm me everywhere. And I think that that is like the best feeling ever. I think sometimes it's hard when you're like in your hometown, or even if you change environments and you're there for a long time, like you start questioning, like, am I this person? And like, yes, I am niplets. I work on hats on the beach and I talk to random people, and I still go run or ride the bike or do my morning walks. I still talk to God all day, and it's still funny. It's still like and bubbly and all the things, and talk to strangers and like all these things that make me me. I think sometimes when you're in the same space, it makes you question like, am I this person? Or like, that's a lot of what Callie taught me. I was scared going out there, and I didn't necessarily know all the things that would happen, but I was me out there every day and thriving in it, and maybe even happier, just like being in a space and proving to myself that like you really are this person that you say you are. That's really important to me. So I think life is just like reintroducing me to me right now. And it's just like, yeah, like you're still her. I'm growing and I'm different and I've learned a lot. Um, But that's really exciting for me. And I think like I've been asking God to show me who I am to Him because I feel like I've been looking at myself with my eyes for so long that it's hard to see some of those things. And I think He's doing that. And that's been really cool. So I think that's what life is teaching me right now. um, what are you learning to love about yourself? I think all the things that everybody told me was too much about myself is what I'm learning to love again. My energy, it could be big, but I also know that that could be a light in spaces. Yeah, all the things that people told me was too much. I think I'm starting to love about myself again and also realizing I have amazing friends. Yeah, I have amazing friends and they are constantly reminding me that I'm not too much and it's not too much to, my friends Treble and Bilal and like my guy friends, they'll open the door for me and like it's not too much to ask for that. Or my friend Ange had came to my grandpa's funeral when he passed recently. And I was like, is it weird to ask your friend to like come to a funeral? Or like, she hadn't met my grandpa before. And she was just like, yeah, I was coming regardless. So I think all the things that life has made me feel like, I don't know if I should ask this, or I don't know if that's too much. That's what I'm learning to love about myself because the right people will just do it and it won't be too much. So, yeah, that's what I'm learning to love about me. Shout out to my friends. Okay. How has it felt to be seen in this way today? It feels a little uncomfortable, like being like on the other side of the camera. It feels good to be vulnerable. It feels good to practice speaking my truth and letting people see me. Um, I think we can like appear this way on Instagram or even out just in society, and people think like you have it all together, you have no worries, or like you're not going through things and life isn't lifing. And in fact, it is. But for the 30 seconds that I pull my phone out and I'm trying to share energy and hype up my gang, like when I'm talking to them on Instagram or something, like I think sometimes that fallacy gets in my head of like, I don't want people to think like they have to be away all the time or like, I would love to be bubbly and be like happy all the time. But I have real life stuff that's going on too, and that's okay. Like it's okay for you to feel like, it's not a good day or you have something going on and you're working through it. So I think it feels good to be vulnerable in spaces and hopefully like relate to other people's testimonies in that way. What's my biggest takeaway? I think to just do the hard things, do the scary things. I think I was a little anxious, like coming over, like I said, being like in front of the camera. And I feel a lot better now. I'm like, okay, like we did it. So I think it's just to do it, like just to go. I think sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I get like in my head and I'm like pacing around my apartment. And as soon as I like open the door and like walk out of the door, it's just this like immediate like exhale. Mm-hmm. And that's what today felt like. Like, okay, we're doing the things. We're out the door. We're on the way. We're in the car. So just to continue to do that, to continue to like walk in purpose and in my light. Yeah. Any final thoughts? No, I think I'm excited for life. I'm excited to meet future Sid. I'm excited to be in this rose phase and exploring like artistry again. Kind of like my art kind of took like a back burner to a lot of things because of artist talk and pouring into so many spaces. I think I stopped practicing my own kind of artistry. So I'm excited to have space and time now to really like hop back into that. So it's just a really exciting time for me to be doing the pop-ups and painting and creating. So I'm really excited for, who I'm becoming and where I'm going. Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sydney.
Yes, thank you.